I read somewhere that memories can be planted, or did I? Ha! Welcome to Shave&Butcher, a rather classic shave today. The razor is that's right. Here she is, the Filarmonica 14 double temple carbon steel. Perhaps my most priciest of price possessions. And, you know, all the way through today, it's going to be some of the best things in wet shaving that money can buy. The soap is Mitchell's Wool Fat. If you haven't tried Mitchell's Wool Fat, you haven't lived. The brush is the board brush from Zenith. You've seen me use that very frequently. I'm still trying to break that in. So what I did after getting advice from several of you was take a blow dryer to it twice, you know, carefully drying it with a blow dryer instead of on a towel. Let's see if that made a difference. Oh, and a word of caution. I have Band-Aid and I have cuts in quite a few places in spite of using the leaf razor on my head, which is usually very safe. The Facon blades don't work for me. I've tried them in DE. No, I haven't. Where did I try them? No, I tried them in the Facon Shavette and they were rough. And I've tried them on the head and they cut me. And I do know how to shave my head. So I'm going to toss these. Don't buy them. Buy the razor is fine. Just throw away the blades, right? Okay. So let's see if this. I mean, apart from the soap that shall not be mentioned, Williams mug soap. Apart from that. I think Mitchell's Wool Fat is really a soap that puts a brush to the test. You get a lot of foam initially. There's no way around that. So it's a foamy mess. It looks like Williams, doesn't it? And it's just the way it behaves. Same recipe since 1893, or so they say anyway. The brand has been around for that long, that's for sure. So you see, this is all frothy foam, loading quite heavily, but it takes longer to load because there's so much foam. You know, can you have a look at that? It's almost like building the lather in the mug, but I'm not. It's all frothily froth. Okay, and then starts the rather long process of building a lather out of this. Oh, I got a shirt on. Why do I have a shirt on? To work, you know. Yeah, so cut here. Well, I have a mole there, which this thing cut off, and you could argue that's because it's sharp. Well, you know, cut here, cut on the back of the neck, cut a little bit everywhere. Okay, so this frothy stuff just needs to be manhandled into the usual toothpaste-like consistency that we want. And this is what I do. I just paint it and paint it and paint it. And after a while you can start doing this. So I don't know how well the brush is going to collaborate with Mitchell's, because it's eating soap like a soap eating cow. I was watching wildebeest on television yesterday. It was on a BBC program. BBC make the best animal documentaries in the world. David Attenborough and so forth. He wasn't on yesterday. Other people were. Okay. So then I just add a lot of water. This takes time. This takes a lot of time. So you can fast forward to me shaving, but yeah, that's not really more entertaining. So you may as well stick around. Wildebeest. I have no point with that story apart from, those. That's a cool animal. Sorry, I have soap all over. And with a cool name. They were fighting off crocodiles and cheetahs. Really cool animals. If I die and I come back an animal, I get to choose, which are all rather unlikely scenarios, especially happening all at the same time. But then, I might consider being a wildebeest. It's important to think these things through in case you get the question. Let's say you get run over by a truck, not expected. You haven't planned for it or anything. And then you go and whoever's in charge of where you're going says, well, you gotta come back to Earth, and you go, okay, I've done enough on Earth, but all right, if that's how we roll, that's how we roll. Yeah. But you're gonna come back as an animal, and you can choose. I'm not saying you can choose exactly which, I'm not saying you can decide. I'm saying you can make a wish. What do you want to come back as? And then you got to think, maybe it's a trick question, and say something, and I come back as something completely different. Just because he or she is taking the piss. So you need to have, depending on where you think he or she is going with that, you need to have two options. So, one that you really want to be, and one that is the opposite. But, you can't be sure, right? If it's a trick question. God, this razor is magnificent. So if you choose like the animal you really don't want to come back at, just in case, it's a genuine request. It can't be all too bad, Let's say you really don't want to be a bacteria that lives in someone's stomach. You really don't want to. But you think, I'm going to be clever. I'm going to say that. I want to be that. And then I'm going to get the exact opposite, which would be something really cool that I want to. But then, it was a genuine question. And he or she says, okay, voila, here you are. And you're stuck in someone's behind, in charge of digesting food. That's no fun. Boom. It's a little bit on the fluffy side. It's beautiful, the leather, but you can work it longer. And then you really get rid of all the bubbles. Yeah, so I know you're busy living your life, etc.
But you need to set aside time to figure these things out.
Because you want to be prepared. Or maybe you get the option of coming back as a plant. Plant, grass, tree sort of thing. Same thing, you want to have that thought through properly. Do you want to live in a ditch where uncleaned sewage water is dumped? Not necessarily. So you want to think that through. Or do you want to be an oak tree, a tall oak tree? Yeah, probably, but what are the chances? What are the chances? It could also be that how you've lived your life will dictate which options you have, if you have any. So don't spend all your time thinking about trees and bacteria. Spend some of your time being a good person, helping others out. It doesn't have to be, oh, fuck. Cut myself. If you talk when you shave, if your face moves and you catch yourself, idiot. There you go. Yeah, you may be laughing now, but these are important things to think about. And if you're only doing good deeds to come back as the wildebeest, make sure you pick good deeds that aren't too hard. That aren't too much of a sacrifice. That's a shit lather. I didn't spend enough time. That shows you need to spend the time with Mitchells. It doesn't change the quality of the shave as such. It's just as slippery and lubricated as usual. It's just a visual thing where this lather is quite airy, so it collapses. I get good quality shaves with Williams mug soap as well, because the thing is slippery. That's all you need. It's just soul killing to shave with a lather that looks so poor. There we go. Yeah, it was altogether a rather poor shaving day. First I cut my head all over the place. Then I get an inferior lather. Just wiping the razor off to make sure it's nice and clean. There you can sit for a while. Then I cut myself and it's like, sometimes you can't win. You just can't win. Yeah, even the cutting action was quite It's inferior. Just trying to get the blood off. Jesus. So it wasn't even a very close shave. Sometimes putting the alum stick on here, if you're really lucky, sometimes it closes up the bleeding. Not so sure it will here, but you can always try. Oh well. Aftershave, what do we choose? What do we choose? Not a lot of option left. I think Hygge. It's been a while. Hygge Uppsala. This is citrus and wood, I think. I should say citrus and cedar wood. Just a little bit. If you take too much, it becomes a bit sticky. Yeah, that was not a terrific shave at all. Can win them all. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Stay sharp.